Hi and welcome. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Instagram as Skein Yarn and on Ravelry as K10. That's K10. So today is the 5th of December and it's summer here and it's very, very hot. We've had lots of humidity already, which is crazy for this time of year anyway. It usually gets humid in February, so yeah, it's going to be a very hot summer. And it's been very, very hot at the dye studio, so we've been going in very early in the morning so I can get my dyeing done before it gets too hot, because it's just we do have air conditioning there. I have mentioned this before. I don't like to use it. It doesn't work fantastically well because it is a metal studio space. It's like a big shed. Putting the air conditioning on doesn't work that well, and also it chews through a lot of money. Best thing to do is go in there early in the morning, get the dyeing done, get work done, and then come home for lunch or just after lunch. Other things that have been happening, I've been gardening. There's going to be a little bit of noise probably this episode because across the road there is a big apartment building which is having work done and there's guys up on scaffolds. I've also been sewing quite a lot, which is great, and I'm going to include a bit of sewing as well at the end of the podcast, only because when I watch podcasts, and I've been devouring them, they're so good. I like to hear about, the other crafts and things that people are up to. So I will be introducing that again. I used to talk about it a while ago, and then I stopped sewing, and now I'm back onto it. So I thought I would include it in the podcast as well, but I'll do it at the end. So who else is watching Vlogmas? I am really, really excited about Vlogmas this year. I was very tempted to do it, but I know how much time and effort goes into making a podcast, so I just don't think I had the time this year, but maybe next year. But I am really enjoying the ones that I'm watching. It's so much fun. I love podcasts. I watch lots of them. I watch different types. I watch sewing ones, knitting ones, art ones. I don't watch a lot of TV. I mainly watch podcasts, and so I've been really enjoying all the Vlogmas episodes. So I'd love to know, who are you watching? Whose Vlogmas are you watching and enjoying? Write it in the comments below. I'd love to have some more ideas and more channels to watch. So give me your ideas. So I've got quite a few things to talk about. I have whips, no finished objects. I've got a new release pattern that I want to talk about that's coming next week. I've got some yarn that I'm putting on the shop today when you see this. Actually, no, I'm going to upload this on Thursday and then the shop update will be Friday. But I want to show you those. And I've got some sewing, which I mentioned. And so I've got quite a few things to talk about. But let's start with what I'm wearing. This is the Hikari tee by Yamagara, and I knit this back in 2020, so 4 years ago, and actually I think I finished it in December of 2020, so exactly 4 years. I'll just show you. This is it. It's got the pattern on the bottom. I did miss a slip stitch on the side, and also what I did do is on the back it's plain, but the pattern itself is, you do the same, I think it's moss stitch and slip stitches. You do the same pattern on the back as you do on the front. I didn't do that. I just decided to do the front with the pattern. I also cropped it, and I was looking back on my modifications, which I did a blog post on the website about this pattern, but what I might do is import all of that information over on Ravelry, so and I'll link that, so if you're interested in seeing the mods that I did for this pattern, you can have a look. But the tee itself is actually quite a bit longer, and all I did was you're working from a chart, so I stopped at a certain point and then I did the ribbing. It's a top-down construction and it's a drop shoulder, so the sleeves are set into the body, so you're not worrying about knitting separate sleeves, which is great. I used our old yarn base, which is Coastal, which was a 50-50 merino cotton. This is a silver bark colorway, which I don't dye anymore. It's very similar to Cottonseed, which we have in the shop. It's sort of a browny grey, or a warm grey. So last podcast I was talking about having a knit along, and I'm really keen to do that, but what I might do is hold off and do the cast on 1st of January, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a tee knit along, so anything without long sleeves. So yeah, let's do it. So the 1st of January, it will be the cast on date, so if you're interested in joining up, all you have to do is pick a pattern and cast on. That's it. I'm going to open up a knit along thread over on our Ravelry group. I'll also work out a hashtag and all that sort of stuff so we can share on Instagram. I'm thinking if you're already knitting a tee and you'll be knitting it in January, then you can certainly join in. There's no hard and fast rules, it's just a nice easy knit along. You can knit tank tops, t-shirts or tees, vests, anything like that, doesn't matter. A few ideas, Soldot and a crop, which is what I was wearing last podcast. That's a great pattern. It's also kind of mid-season, so if you're in a cooler climate in the northern hemisphere, you might feel like knitting with DK weight yarn, so that's a good option. And also what I thought I might do is have a special podcast discount for our shop. So if you would like to buy some yarn and you're interested in buying our yarn for the knit along, we have a code which is T knit along, that's TEEKAL, and I'll put that code somewhere on the screen, and that'll get you 15% off in stock or dyed to order. And I'm going to have that discount running until the 19th of December. So if you do order, it'll give me time to dye it and ship it before we have Christmas. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I am going to do Tegna. I'm going to do Tegna by Caitlin Hunter. Like I said last time, it's a pattern that I've had in my queue for ages. I've really wanted to knit it. I'm still trying to decide on which colour I want to knit it with. I'm thinking maybe this one, which is the New Beginnings. This is on the frizz base, but I was thinking I'm either going to use our Daintree yarn, which is a silk merino bamboo blend, which is a beautiful summer yarn. Deciding which colour I want to knit it in. I don't know, I'm thinking a speckled yarn, something light and fun for summer, and definitely a summery yarn is what I'm going to use. I would love to hear in the comments below if you're going to join in, what you might be wanting to knit. And also come and join us over on the Skein group on Ravelry and join in the conversation there or on Instagram. Oh, and I should also mention that the knit along, I'm going to run that until the end of summer, so that will be end of February. That's right, isn't it? December, January. Yeah, so the end of February will be the last day of February will be the last day of the knit along. So you can join in at any time. Like I said, whatever you're working on, come and join us. If you're seeing this later on and it's still within the time frame, feel free to jump in. It's just something nice and easy to knit on during the new year, in the new year. Okay, so let's talk about my whips. So last podcast I mentioned that I was keen to cast on the Lorette sweater by Nadia Crétin-LéchenneWildwoods, and I did actually cast that on. This is it here. I'll put a picture of the actual pattern up for you so you can have a look at it. This is it. I've done a ton. Lovely, lovely pattern. I'm always so happy when I need a pattern that's really well written, and this is. It's really, I have had no problems. It's just so easy and lovely to knit on. The lace at the top is obviously charted, and I love charts, easy to follow. It was really quick and a very intuitive lace pattern. And then it's got short rows at the back, which is always, it's kind of really a necessity in raglans. So that's the front there. And as you can see, I've already split off for the sleeves, and now I'm just doing the easy part of the body. I am going to crop this, so I have to watch when I get to a certain length. I've got to try it on and see if I like the length. I think the rib is about 1 inch long, so yeah, I'll knit it to however far I need to knit it to, and then I'll start the rib. And I am using our Sportlicious yarn. This is Spinach, and this is a really hard color to photograph. It just doesn't look as lovely as it does in real life. I find green and purple very difficult to photograph. So this is, it's like a very deep saturated emerald green. It does have a blue undertone to it. And then the stripes, I am using our Frizz base, which is a boucle. This is 100% merino. This is 100% merino as well. This is a fingering weight yarn. This is a sport weight. And I was a little bit, not worried, but a little bit concerned that I wouldn't get gauge. But I did. It wasn't a problem. I think because the Frizz being a boucle does knit up quite puffy, so it adds a bit to the gauge. The pattern itself recommends a fingering weight yarn, but when you look at the yarn that she used, the meterage is actually more of a sport weight, so that's why I'm using the sport. I mean, sport and fingering can kind of be interchangeable anyway, so because it's not a huge difference between the two. But yeah, I'm loving how it's knitting up, and I really love how the boucle stripes are sort of, you may or may not be able to see that, I'm not sure, but they do sort of stand out a bit more, like they're a bit more puffy, and it looks, yeah, it really looks great. It looks very Christmassy too, which I like. And I don't know if you can see in the screen, I can't really see, but I've got my Christmas lights up. I didn't put my Christmas tree up this year. I've decided just to put some lights up and some decorations out. So yeah, this is a great little pattern, and as you can see, it's very quick to knit. The next whip is the shawl that I've been working on, which is a new design, and I have reached the point where and this is a new design that I'm working on. My cat just came in, so she might, because I'm talking, she thinks I'm talking to her, so she'll probably talk back. So I've finished the body of the shawl itself, and it is all short rows. These stripes are all done in German short rows, and then this section, the plain section, is just done in garter. It's all garter stitch, so it's nice and easy. Watch out, Riku. Say bye-bye. So yeah, it's very easy and yeah, relaxing knit so far. The only thing is I've stopped and I am undecided what I want to do for the border. I don't know whether I just want to do a plain section, a plain purple section and bind off, or if I want to do a simple lace, or maybe like a garter stitch border and then do a picot bind off. I'm not quite sure. It's got quite a sort of a modernish feel to it, so I don't want to like be too frou-frou with what I do. Like, I don't want to add too much. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Should I do a plain border, or should I do something with a bit of lace, or a picot bind off? I don't know. Any suggestions are welcome at this stage, because I've stalled on it. I haven't knit on this for about a week. I just really don't know how to finish it. So yeah. Oh, and I am using our frizz base again, which is the boucle. This one is Vin Rouge. I've got Marigold and Crema de Cafe. And my last whip is I'm knitting another one of my designs, which is an older design. I did speak about this, I think, in the last podcast too. This is the Wildwood sweater, and I wanted to re-release it with our current yarn bases, because the past yarn base that I actually designed it with is no longer available. So I wanted to do something where it is available, people can buy the pattern and the yarn. So I'm using our Lano base in Vin Rouge. That's all I have left of this ball. I have actually wound up more for this. And this is Eclipse, yes, in our mohair. And it's quite dark, the colour, so you may not be able to see the lace. It's just a simple drop shoulder. I do love drop shoulder designs. So it's a simple drop shoulder with the lace, and it's a stockinette body, and then the sleeves themselves are quite puffy, so they're balloon sleeves. So you knit them to the cuff, and then you do a drastic decrease and then do the cuff. So I haven't knit on this much. I've been spending more time with Lorette and working on that sweater. But yeah, they're both at good stages because they're very easy. I can pick either one up and just knit on it, and I don't have to think too much. So in the dye studio, I have been working on a new collection of colours. These are all inspired by lollies and sweets, candies. They are all one-of-a-kind colours, and my idea is to put these in the shop as I feel like dyeing them. It's great for me because I can just play around with dye techniques and colours, and I don't have to have the hassle, or not the hassle, but the pressure of having to recreate them. So this week I've done sock kits or sock sets, and yeah, these are all basically, the collection will be, because it's inspired by sweets and lollies, all the titles are based on sweets and lollies. So this one is spearmint leaves with blueberry, and these are just a few. I've got a lot that I've put on the shop. This is licorice all sorts with mint candy. I've got jelly beans with orange gumdrops. I'm reading these without glasses, and I'm amazed that I can read the label. This one, I love this one. This is lemon drops with sherbet fizz. That pink I just love. I'm going to try and recreate that for the shop itself. We've got, oh my god, what does that say? Musk sticks with mint. And I know that there are a lot of people who aren't that fussed on really bright saturated colour, so I have been dyeing some skeins that are less bright, and this is one of them. This is chalk orange with raspberry. So yeah, they're just a few of the colours. I've got lots of them in the shop. So they're going in the shop on Friday. So once the colourways have sold out, that's it. I won't be re-dyeing them again. So if you see something you like, grab it. The sock sets are actually created using our all-rounder sock base, which is an 80-20 merino nylon, and these do knit up into really nice socks. They're actually quite soft, so if you've got somebody, or if you're sensitive to rough sock yarn, then this is a great alternative. They're also really good sock sets for other things. For example, hats. You can knit hats and use the mini to add stripes, or add a contrasting ribbing, or use it for the beanie. They're great for mitts, cows, one skein shawls, those kinds of things, so they don't have to be used for socks. And this yarn does knit up really well for pretty much anything. That's why it's called all-rounder. It's a good all-rounder yarn. So these will be, yeah, like I said, in the shop Friday, and I plan on adding different yarns, different ideas to the Sugar Rush collection. I'm thinking mini kits is a good idea. I might do some fades. I'll just do single skeins as well, as in like you can buy them singly, you don't have to buy them as a sock kit. So yeah, like I said, it's really fun for me just to have at it, or just grab dyes and go crazy. And then I can, yeah, just dye them a whole heap of different things and then add them to the shop as I dye them. So I hope you like them. Now I'm going to be talking about sewing. So I have been working on quite a few things. I actually sewed a lunar tank by Helen. Is it Helen Studio? I'll put the name up on the screen, which I really loved. I don't have it here, it's actually in the wash, so I'll put a picture up. The lunar tank I have made before ages ago, and it's such a good pattern. It's actually free if you sign up to Helen's Closet, I think it is. If you sign up to her email, you get the pattern for free, and it is meant to be used for knit fabric. But I had this woven fabric that had a little bit of stretch, so I used it. I couldn't do the bands for the neck or the sleeves, so they didn't have enough stretch, so I just turned the hem over and sewed it, and it worked really lovely. I do have another lunar tank cut out in another fabric, actually a knit fabric. And I have plans for another one, because in summer here that pattern is fantastic. It's very loose and flowy, and yeah, it's really lovely and cool to wear. The next pattern that I sewed up is from Grainline Studio, and it is the Lark tee. I have made the long sleeve version of this. I've made the short sleeve and the cap sleeve, so this is such like a good pattern to get if you're interested, because they're just basic tees. You have 4 different necklines, 4 different sleeve types, and yeah, it's just so good. I've made a pledge that I'm not going to buy any fast fashion. I'm going to try and make everything myself. And where I can't make it, I will buy secondhand, or if somebody else has handmade it, then I will buy it. And I'm talking about outer clothing. Underwear I haven't gotten into sewing yet, but yes, like t-shirts and pants and all that sort of stuff, dresses. I'm going to try and sew them up myself, or like I said, buy them from a thrift store. But this is great. I made the boat neck tee with the short sleeves, and I'll put a picture in. Again, that's in the wash too. I've worn it. And yeah, it was great. It's such a good pattern. I actually did buy an overlocker a couple of years ago, and I haven't used it much, but I have started using it, and I sewed the whole t-shirt using the overlocker, and it was super duper quick. So yeah. The next pattern which I have cut out and ready to go is the Alder shirt dress by Grainline Studio, another Grainline Studio pattern. Actually, I bought these at the same time. I did sew this one before and it didn't work. And I think it's got nothing to do with the pattern. It was just I didn't have enough experience at the time, and I think the fabric that I used was too thick, because as you can see it's got like a gather at the side. It just didn't work. It's also got a button band, which I had a lot of troubles with. So I'm trying it again. This time I'm doing this view here, so it's more of an A-line shirt dress. I have everything cut out. I have all the interfacing ironed on. I actually spent a whole afternoon cutting it out and putting the interfacing on, and by the end of it I was almost dead. Like I spent a long time cutting it out to try and make it exact, and unfortunately for me I use a rotary cutter and the blade went blunt. So it was such a pain. Anyway, I'm really hoping I can get this done and the button band will be okay, but I'm just going to take my time, do it very, very slowly. This is the fabric that I'm using. I absolutely love this yellow. I have it in my house. I'm just looking at my couches. I've got this in my house as well. This is a linen cotton blend. It's just one that I picked up from Spotlight. I always go to say Shopify or Spotify, Spotlight. And yeah, so hopefully I will have something to show you in the next podcast, which I plan on doing in 2 weeks' time. I also had a couple of patterns delivered by Scissors, was it Scissors Paper Frock, I believe. They are a pattern and fabric store online, and I've never used them before, but yes, that came beautifully wrapped. I actually put it on my Instagram, my sewing Instagram, which if you're interested in following me and my sewing, I've split the two. So I'll put my, I think it's Sew All the Things. I'll put it on the screen, so if you're interested you can follow me there. And I would love it if you sew too to follow me, because I'm really into it at the moment. I love to see what you're sewing. So I bought the Subtly Dress and Top by Megan Nielsen, and I have a couple of Megan Nielsen's patterns, but I've never actually used them, so this will be interesting. And I bought this mainly because, well, I really love the dress and the top, but there are 4 different, it only shows you 2 on the front, but there's 4 different ways of sewing this pattern. So there's 2 different tops. There's like a Peter Pan collar on one top. The other top is similar to the dress here, and then the dress itself has this lovely gather, which I saw people who had posted their makes on Instagram, and I really, really love them. So yeah, I'm going to get a lot of use out of this pattern. The second one is from Named, and I also have another couple of patterns from Named in my stash, and this is the Inari dress and crop tee. And I am really interested in making this dress just to wear around the house, or even to the beach, just to slip over my cozies and I can walk to the beach, or just, yeah, to wear around at home. But what I also really loved about this pattern, and why I always look at when I buy sewing patterns, is how many versions can I make. So this one has the long sleeve version as well, and it's a cropped long sleeve tee. So yeah, I'm really keen to sew this one up. I do have some knit fabric in my stash, but I feel like this needs to be quite a heavy, like a heavier weight knit. The one that I've got is more of a t-shirt weight, so I might go to Spotlight and see what they have for this. And then finally I have a chalk and notch pattern, which is the Wren blouse, and this has, again, like I said, more than one option. There's one top and one dress, and the dress that I've seen on Instagram I really love too. It actually has, again, another kind of frill at the bottom. I don't know what it is about frill. I'm never ever drawn to them, but all of a sudden this summer I just want to wear them, which is strange. But what drew me first of all is the top. I really, really love this top, and it has puffy sleeves, which I really like. And I love just that simple collar. So yes, lots of things to keep me busy. So next week, on Wednesday, I believe, I think it's going to be Wednesday anyway, I'm going to be releasing a new pattern, and I spoke about this a couple of episodes ago. This is the Navona sweater. I actually took photos of this yesterday. It was so hot and I had to put a jumper on, but that's fine. So the Navona sweater is knit in an interesting way. You first begin by knitting these mitered squares, which you join up as you go, as you knit them, and then when you've knit the right amount of squares, you then join them together and sew them. So you end up with this big circle of mitered squares, and then you pick up stitches from the top and you knit the top of the yoke all the way up to the neck, and you do shaping as well, so it's a circular yoke. And then you pick up stitches along the bottom edge of the squares, and then you knit down. What I love about this sweater is the fact that you can have fun and do different colors in the yoke. I chose to do a different color yoke to the body, so I did, this is Whisper. And then for the mitered squares, this is Sapphire, Bouquet, and Strawberry Milkshake. Sorry, my cat is meowing. Yeah, and I know you can hear that. It's almost lunchtime, so she's hungry. And then the body, I used our colorway Fog. This is knit using our Cushy DK base, and I will be putting kits up as well as the pattern. But what I also think is great about this pattern too is that the amount that you use for these little squares, I think it's 15 grams per square. So these are really good for leftover yarns. So it's good to go stash diving for this pattern. You only really need one skein for the top. You could use leftovers for the mitered squares, or you could even use two fingering weight yarns held together if you like, and then you just need enough yarn for the body. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this design. It was fun to knit. I've actually knit two of them. I knit another one with holding two skeins of our ACM together, and then I decided to do one with just the DK weight on its own, because actually writing the pattern up, holding the two different yarns held together, it was a little bit complicated, so I decided just to make it easier for myself and just write it up for the Cushy DK. So yeah, that is my new design, Navona, and I would have worn it today, but it's way too hot. So, oh, and I should say the pattern will be available on Ravelry, and it will be available on our website as well. And if you sign up for the newsletter, every time I do release a pattern, newsletter subscribers receive a 20% discount. And if you do buy yarn for the pattern too, you get the if you buy the yarn from us, you get the pattern for free. So thanks for watching, and I will be back in 2 weeks time, so it'll be, I think that's the week before Christmas, Please come and join us with the tea knit along. As I said, that will kick off on January 1. And let me know what you're going to be making. Come join us on Ravelry and chat about what you're planning on making. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you in 2 weeks' time. See ya.